to the right, Jim Schofield in E602, the Spitfire Mark 5.
But to cut a long story short, the problem was you suddenly needed to put these cannons in. That was needed. They put them in the Mark II. It kind of worked. But the problem was the cannons don't really fit on those very thin elliptical wings. So what do? It's Joe Smith, who's taken over as chief designer from R.J. Mitchell, who comes up with the idea of the teardrop. That gives enough room for reach, and that's how they get around it. And it's the cannons that you can see sticking out in front of the wings, one in each wing, in addition to the ship wings. Suddenly you've got a major fighter plane which has got the right armament. That is a game changer. But the interesting thing is, they were thinking they were going to have to scrap the Spitfire because they just couldn't see how they could house these cannons. And the teardrop was the simple, ingenious, brilliant answer to it that ensured that it went on to fly throughout the Second World War on into the 1950s. In all the different works that it produced.
Anecdote about the cannon wings about this very aeroplane was, I think the year before last, I was tasked with a display one Sunday morning in this very aeroplane. The night before, I'd flown the grey Spitfire display, which doesn't have cannon. Just listen to the noise of this as Jim brings it around and I'll finish the story. So I was doing a walk around Sunday morning. I was about to go to Somerset for a display, and the night before I'd flown a cannonless Spitfire, and then this morning I was doing a walk around, forgot the cannon was there, walked straight into it, exactly a head ouch, gash in my forehead. I was already quite tight for time to get to Somerset, so I had to put my helmet on with blood dripping out of my face.
That must have given you a little bit of a flavour.
But 2 and 5, you obviously see there's only one radiator, so it's susceptible to overheating, and in fact a radiator flap that opens at the back is manually controlled in this aircraft compared to the automatic control in the twin radiators.
It's a very rare one though, isn't it? I mentioned Spitfire earlier on. This is the Spitfire that comes to Nature's rescue. It's that all-in North Airback. It's amazing that the moment Malta is able to return as a defensive base, what a direct result that has on events in North Africa across the other side of the Mediterranean. So it might be a tiny island, but its fighter defence was absolutely crucial for British Allied war aims in the Mediterranean, which of course then led to a complete victory in North Africa, conquest of Sicily, Italy. Really the first part of turning the tide of the war in the West. But I suppose what we're driving at is that when you're looking at the Spitfire Mark 5, you're looking at another piece of enormous history, an enormous impact really. What a perfect finish, eh, Mike?
Absolutely stunning. I always used to love the Big Inno affair, which Ray Hanna performed to close the show.
Yes, he knew a thing or two about low flying, but I think that must be the most watched video ever of him flying over. Holland de Camp there.